What I think somehow Yashraj has managed to do, and I've contributed to that, is keep them away from the so-called need for fame.
Uh-huh.
That's why they're not here out there promoting.
Exactly, right.
And they're completely okay with that. Like Crook was one album like that.
That's true.
And Mere Bina picked up much later and other stuff. I said, no, sir, but it's just the times. He said, I'll take that risk. You
Yeah.
make the best film of your life.
Fab.
Yeah. You give me the best music and make the best film of your life. And it was endearing for him to tell me this after seeing the film that you have made your best film. Hi, this is Mohit Suri and you're watching me on India Forums.
Subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss another update from India Forums.
वैसे अगर आपकी प्लेलिस्ट में कुछ ऐसे गाने आजकल के चलते रहते हैं, लेकिन if you don't have songs from the 2005s to till now, and if you don't have that Imran Hashmi songs that people now keep getting nostalgic about, what have you even heard? I question your playlist. But the person who just created, I'm not saying created the playlist, but is the reason to give us the most memorable songs, and more importantly, some of the most fascinating love stories, is of course none other than Mohit Suri. Hi.
Thank you. This is one of the most innovative introductions I've got actually.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I don't want to start off, right away asking, okay, thank you for the great songs. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for giving them some of the most lovely numbers over the years. What I want to know from you is that all of that is so organic, right? You can't really plan कि यार मतलब ये फिल्म में अच्छे गाने थे तो अगली में इस तरह के गाने रखते हैं तो ज्यादा चलेगी. I don't think that's how it works. What I want to know from you is over the years, what have you learned from the ones that did not work? Not just in terms of songs, but in terms of stories. And are you one of those people who tends to analyze a little too much?
Yeah, a lot. With my music, a lot. If an album doesn't work, I actually have never let anyone else's opinion change my conviction. There have been albums that have not worked. And a lot of people jump at you saying your music, you should really think about it. Maybe you need a new change. Suddenly, then after 2-3 months, you see songs on that album are playing somewhere.
Yeah.
So there was some other reason why they didn't click at that time. So you're right about the fact that when you start a film with newcomers and you do this, but honestly, I think that the real risk and the real vision, and the so-called courage, I think, was my producers. I was just told, like, I was the one who went to them, and I did have some bankable, saleable actors who want to play the part. And
Yeah, you mentioned, yeah.
Adi sir was like, "Are you crazy? This film is for 20-25-year-olds."
Correct.
So I said, yes, sir, but who'll put money? He said, you'd rather de-age a 35 or 40-year-old to play a 25-year-old. So I said, no, sir, but it's just the times. He said, I'll take that risk. You make the best film of your life.
Fab.
Yeah. You give me the best music and make the best film of your life. And it was endearing for him to tell me this after seeing the film that you have made your best film here.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it felt good.
Yeah, and the moment anybody talks about Aditya Chopra, I feel so good because it's like an enigma. Aditya Chopra is an enigma for all the people out there. But again, we all know as long as he's creating magic on screen, we are fine with it.
No, I think that's he can do that because he does this. I think that's what I've realized. I think by not being out there, he can be in all of us, I think.
True. Fabulous. And Mohit, I have a fascinating observation, about you because over the years, of course, we know you debuted, you're a 22-year-old, you're debuting with, you have actually a double debut in the same year. Zehar and Kalyug came in the same year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I look back at, there is obviously an evolution a filmmaker goes through, just like an actor goes through, because you've aged. So you've seen life experiences and a lot of that dictates how you make films as well. What I've seen is now that over the years, there is a way that the male characters are portrayed. You see them at times, they're vulnerable most. They are, they have vices. They are obviously flawed, just like any human being is. But over the years, from being a young director yourself, and you're writing the characters as well, somehow have you ever vicariously lived through those characters?
Totally.
Yeah?
Totally.
And how has that evolved over the years? Because now I see an evolution which is obvious and at the same time subtle as well.
Yeah, so there was always this screaming, shouting boy in the beginning. Invariably, all my characters is a guy in the corner fighting and acting really tough, but is actually emotionally weak, and then in the end is always looking for a woman to come and save him from that scenario.
Correct.
And then he doesn't realize he needs to stop fighting. That's pretty much all my characters, and I can put that in a nutshell. But yes, there's a angsty, angrier boy in the beginning, which happened till Avarapan. a lot of depth and emotional, this thing, kind of a kind of depth, a subtleness, a quietness came, which was, but still very emotional, was Ashiki,
Yeah.
where Tumiyo and all came. It
Correct.
can be reflected in this. But a maturity, I think, has come now in Saiyaara,
Hmm.
where there is, I have a wife and children. In Malang, I was struggling with, do I want to become a parent or not?
Ah, right.
If you can see with the emotional
The
story was
arc that
there.
goes through. Correct.
So I think each film come somewhere adds on to that part of your film, your life, and you don't have to autobiographically live into your film.
Hmm.
But if something of yours doesn't bleed into your film, then what is it? I mean, then yeah, it's then what is your job as a director?
Hmm.
If you are not in your take, then everyone else can do their job. The cameraman can shoot it, the writer
Yeah.
can write it, the
Yeah.
actor can act it, the cameraman will put up the shots. Why should you be on the set?
Hmm.
You have to put in what is not written in the script, and that is who you are.
Lovely. And another thing in this context, and this is on much on a lighter note, because I, for someone who doesn't know your history, so to speak,
Yeah.
before you became a director, you assistant directed on Avaragal Diva.
Yes,
And
lovely.
it boggles me. I knew it already, but it boggles my mind that that is the world you were a part of. What just transpired on screen and still is a cult today.
Yeah.
It is on a much lighter note, and I just wanted to have this. You humor me on this. Never have you ever felt the need to change the route of your rational thinking.
No, I'm too scared. I mean, I think Vikram was a much more gutsier guy and a much more, out there guy. He was going through a purple patch. We had Raz and Avara Pagal Divana. It's the same director who's done both these.
Exactly.
And that was quite a contrast.
Yeah.
From a horror film to like the scariest film in the country to
To a madcap
funniest
comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was a part of both.
Precisely.
And it was hilarious. Like on the set, when Neeraj sir used to come with the dialogues, we would laugh. Then when the actors did it, we laughed even more.
Yeah.
Then in the edit, we laughed even more. But what was scary was after you edited it a couple of times, suddenly you've seen it so many times, you're not laughing anymore. So that's the scary part, what to keep and what
Right.
not to keep, because there's a
Right.
lot of like improv.
Yeah, of course.
And so I think it's comedy is the highest form of film of storytelling. It's the most difficult, I think, and maybe I don't have the guts to do it, but someday I would love to direct a comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I see you doing that. I
hope.
do, because I think there is always, that bit which that can
Yeah.
transpire into, and it's all about writing, I guess. You
It
do
is all about it. And now and acting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, get the right actors
Yeah.
on board. Fabulous. And again, there is a consistent conversation now, because people have been talking about romance coming back and everything. I don't want to get there, because it's great. It's great that we have more and more romantic films and shows coming out there. Fabulous. But there is a constant conversation about how romance is portrayed today. Okay, you have a couple of films and shows which are much more old school, because trying to get into that piousness, like being pious about romance. And then you have about a story like Saiyaara, which is about flawed people trying to having a very natural love story, but a lot of that is dictated about self-destruction, this, that, everything. What do you think is, I don't see like selling more, so to speak, but what do you think connects more, or is it just on a very personal level that all these things work?
Honestly, I feel love, we tend to misinterpret and look down upon our generation that comes next. I mean, I think our parents told us, we used to love, we all don't know how to love. And we're doing the same with the next generation.
Correct.
The fact is, they feel the same. I mean, our grandparents sent letters to each other and waited for hours in parks to meet without communication.
Yeah.
Our generation lived on the landline and spoke all night. I mean, our parents.
Correct.
Our generation connected on cell phones and
Yeah.
text messages and whatever. And the generation after that now connects on social media and stuff like that. But if they break up or they have a fight, it hurts in the same place in the body, which is pretty much in the center, slightly angled to the left.
Right.
No matter how much of left and right you swipe online, it's going to hurt in the same place.
True.
Similarly, when you fall in love, you have the butterflies in your stomach. It's a body reaction. Holding a hand will always feel special. A first kiss will always feel like a first kiss rather than online. It probably felt the same with my grandparents that it felt now. So I think it's not like complicated relationships didn't exist earlier. So many times we heard of this uncle. This uncle was supposed to marry this one, but last minute married that one.
Yeah.
That's
correct.
benching.
Yeah, that's benching. Exactly.
And one was ghosted, one was benched.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened.
That's your terminology in the old
we just didn't give it to
times.
his uncle.
True,
Last
yeah.
minute realized he wanted to marry this one.
Correct.
And Chachu was a player, but Chachu, no, he's benching some people.
Benching someone. Yeah.
And Chachi had a big following. What was she doing? She was benching a lot of people. Right?
No, I agree.
Yeah, we hear those terms. We just don't give it like things.
The
And
terms.
you've heard they didn't name complicated things because I think they just said there was only one relationship, husband and wife.
Yeah.
They slowly grew up to like fiance. Then they grew up to girlfriend. That was allowed during my parents' time.
Yeah.
But they didn't have now they've got words too.
Correct.
So I think you've had hundreds of songs in the past that said "Rishte ka kya naam hai."
Yeah.
You know, so I just guess this is just we tend to complicate. But I'm not here to like prove that any kind of cinema is back or gone or anything like that. I think that the nature in the industry we belong to, what's scary is if you make a film today, it's not going to release tomorrow. It's going to release at least a year later.
Yeah.
And you don't know how things are going to be back then.
True.
So make something that you feel will always be loved.
Correct. Fabulous. And just on a parting note, Mohit, I always, whenever I have a director, they have an illustrious filmography to their name. I always find it very, as you mentioned, you are one of those people who does tend to analyze your success, your failures, of course, failures a lot more. What I want to know is, over the years, what has been the most surprising moment for you, as a filmmaker, in terms of a scene clicking like you never anticipated, or a song clicking that you never anticipated, and vice versa, something you really anticipated to click but just didn't happen?
I remember when I got my first blockbuster success, I always imagined it to be very aggressive and happy feeling. I remember feeling sad because I lost my father just before it. But it wasn't because of that. It somehow was more humbling an experience.
Okay.
Rather than elevating. So the only tip that I want to tell everyone who's out there listening, that the highs are not as high, they feel like relief. They feel like validations. And the lows are really low. But it's not a bad place. It's not how people make it out to seem.
Right.
Is it competitive? It should be, because there are more people who want to do it than jobs available. But that doesn't make the people who've got there bad people.
True. And any sort of because just continuing on that and ending, any sort of a thing that you did not anticipate, like you made it with all your heart, but sometimes you don't really anticipate what's going to click, right? So any sort of a song or a film or any sort of a story which you thought that, oh damn, I didn't see this.
I was superbly disappointed when Avara didn't do well, because I genuinely
Everybody
liked the film.
was. Everybody
I know
was.
at that time no one went to the theatre to
I
watch
know.
it. But the fact that 18 years later they're making a sequel to that film means that no good work goes waste.
Great.
So that's a learning. I remember at that time Mukesh Bhatt and Mahesh Bhatt telling me that don't be disheartened. You are a good director, you made a good film. The fact that they're making a sequel for the film today means that film has sustained time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Grew aged fabulously. Thank you so much, Mohit.
Thank you so much.
This
That's
was
one of the good interviews I've had, actually.
I'm glad you felt that way. Thank you so much for this pleasant conversation. I mean, I won't say the obvious things because everybody's waiting for the film. I genuinely say that. We've had analytics saying that everybody is actually waiting for this film.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much. To many more stories and to a little more than love stories, I would hope.
Yes. I hope I can get a comedy someday.
Someday. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.